let's say that I go to Clearwater where Brian and Francis are right now. And I'm asking around and I say, hey, what's the best pizza place in Clearwater? And somebody said, well, it's Franco's Pizza. Man, you got to go to Franco's. That's the best. Okay. So count that as a vote. And then I go and I ask somebody else and they said, it's Franco's Pizza. Right. So then there's another vote. So this is like, we're starting to build trust in Franco's Pizza. And this is kind of how Google views citations and to some extent backlinks. Okay. So when we start to see that everybody is saying that this business exists at this address, then Google will start to believe that that's true. So you could get a citation on like Yellow Pages or Yelp. We're just listing off the information. Okay, so let's talk about backlinks. Similar to citations, backlinks are like votes. So imagine I'm walking through the streets of Clearwater and I need legal advice. And I run into a child and I ask the child like, hey man, I'm in this legal situation. What should I do? Maybe that advice sounds like he's a good kid, but like maybe it's not very trustworthy advice. So that would be one type of backlink, right? So backlinks, let's just get our eyes on it so we're all on the same page. If I go to Civil War history, what's always going to come up at the top is Wikipedia. You see these things right here where it's highlighted? These are links. So these are actually internal links because I'm staying in within Wikipedia. But if it was a backlink, it would take me to a different site, right? Like if it took me to some like Civil War museum or something. I'm sure on this website somewhere, there's going to be some link that leaves Wikipedia. That would be a backlink for the site that's receiving it, right? And there's probably a ton of sites that are referencing this page right here. So imagine like a high school teacher talking about the Civil War and they write some blog article and they want to reference something. So they reference it and then they send a link to this page. When Google sees that, it builds up a little bit of trust. But not all of these links are created equal. And that's what this is about right here as we go back. So the child, a link from the child, maybe this is a link from a gambling website where Google doesn't really trust it, right? So we're walking down the street and we run into a police officer. This is a man of the law. This is more trustworthy now. So the link from this site, maybe this is a link from like the Chamber of Commerce, right? Or maybe if it's a concrete site, like a local concrete site, maybe a link from another concrete company that's been established for a long time. What would be more trustworthy than a police officer? Now we're on to a judge. So this is like Google loves the judges, right? So the judge would be like getting a link from Wikipedia, right? This is the cream of the crop. If you get a link from there and Google's like, I trust you, and I trust you explicitly, and you are trusting this other site, so I trust this other site, right? So that's kind of how it works. And this is a major ranking factor. Early on, Google realized, hey, we can establish a relationship and we can have this ranking system that goes from 0 to like whatever, right? There's been a lot of different ways to classify this. Okay, so I see there's a couple questions in here. So is the website the link on the website or where the link sends you that gets you the credit? So let's take a look at something here. I want to really drive this home. This is pretty easy to understand once you get the right, kind of have the right context. So let's go back and we'll look at this guy, this Concrete Commandos. And I have no idea. I have no affiliation or anything with this site. They kind of have a URL. We'll see what this does. I'm actually going to choose a different one because I just don't like the way they have that set up. This one, we're going to go with a normal site here. So we've got this company, Concrete Rejuvenation. Plug these guys in here. Okay. All right. So there's a lot. This is a tool that I don't own this tool. This is a tool that my agency pays for so that we can do research. So these numbers, there's all kinds of stuff. Don't let it stress you out. These numbers right here, you see backlink profile. It's telling us who's linking, right? And this number goes from 0 to 100. They have a 0.6. Not a very good number. When Google's going through and trying to decide, and this is just this tool's understanding of this backlink. This isn't Google's. Google doesn't care what Ahrefs thinks, but Ahrefs is really good and they've done a good job of understanding the rules and everything. So like we can trust their numbers for the most part, but just want to get clear on that. So not very strong links that are pointing back to this. So like, hey, if backlinks matter and these guys are showing up second, then why do they only have a 0.6 or whatever, right? Well, they're only showing up second for one spot on the map. It changes. We go a mile down the road, everything will be different. And links are only one ranking factor. It's not everything. And it's also very misleading when you just see the spot once on the map. So let's look this right here, backlink. So this is this site here, and somewhere on here is that company. So if I click on this, that's a backlink. It's going to this other site here. So basically, the one that's getting credit is this site, that Concrete Rejuvenation, because this site's linking to them. Like if they use concrete, then that's good. If they use click here, then it's like helping you rank better for the words click here. So choosing the right words makes a difference. I don't want to get like too deep into the weeds, but that's kind of like how backlinks work. And this tool helps you analyze this. Now that we understand these links, like I said, crash course on this, so I can't go super deep. Content is king. We started off this presentation by saying Google's goal is to try to match the searcher with the best answer. And that's why content matters so much. Like we want high quality content that answers amazing questions. So if we were to go back and look at Wikipedia is one of the most popular websites in the world. They have so much content. So you remember how it goes from 0 to 100? So Wikipedia is a 96. If you have a local business, don't get intimidated by this. You can do really well if you're like a 20 or 25, 30, right? 96 is ridiculous. There's only a few, like this is one of the most popular websites in the world. So you can kind of see they have 2.7 million sites referring to them, right? And they've ranking for all these different keywords. Why? Because their content is fantastic. That's what creates the reason for people to rank, right? That's like Google's giving them the right, giving people they're giving people the answers, and then people are referencing their content, which creates the links, which pushes them up. So like the better content we create, the more authoritative. It explains things in a way that people understand. It talks directly to the person who's searching. Like all of these things matter. That's one of the main goals of Google. So we got to make our content really, really good. And I'll give you guys a little bit on how to do that later on in the presentation. This hat, think about it like this. You've got a business. Somebody let me get away from concrete. Somebody throw the type of business that they do inside the chat, and I'll use it as an example. Legal. Okay, great. So let's say that we're working with attorneys, right? And we're working with personal injury attorneys. We want to show up for the term car accident attorney, Los Angeles. Well, we have to write content about that topic. And when we do, it's like we're putting our name in the hat. Google can't pull your name out of the hat if you haven't talked about the content. So you've got to enter yourself into the raffle if you're going to get picked. Now, it's not really a raffle, but the more content you write about a topic without it being spam, if we wrote like personal injury attorney, and then we wrote like a section on the website that talks about car accident, and then we connect content within our website where it's like, here's the 10 things to do if you were in a car accident. How do you handle insurance when you're in a car accident? Like all this supporting information around this. So we're building up a foundation to support the thing that we want to rank for. So one of the most important ranking factors on websites is what's called internal links. And if we go back to Wikipedia, all of these are internal links. So this links to the Fort Sumter page on Wikipedia. So we're essentially building up what's called pillar content. So we have our main thing that we want to rank for. So personal injury, so PI, and then we have like car accident. And then we can have all the different things that are about car accidents, and they all point to car accident attorney. So internally, we're writing all this content, and then Google's seeing like car accident attorney, car accident attorney, car accident attorney. This page is about car accident attorney, and they have all the supporting information. That's how you structure it. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. We just have to think about like, what are the things that are relevant to somebody that is looking for personal injury attorney, right? How does it work with an attorney? What should I pay? When's the right time to talk to them? What things should I be scared about, right? All these different things. We want to be the Wikipedia on the topic because content is king, right? So the more we write about it, the better it will be.